Well, hello there ladies and gentlemen, I'm Philanthropone and I'm back with another video here, this time to give my top 3 favorite HTC Vive games to release in May and June of 2018. There were definitely a lot of great Vive games to release in this time period, and it was actually a little bit tough making my choices. I have one honorable mention, and that game is Ethereum, which is a super fun obstacle course challenge type of game that is only $5. So check that one out because it is a sleeper that not a lot of people have discovered, judging by the lack of activity on its Steam page. So without further ado, here are my top 3 favorite HTC Vive games to release in May and June of 2018. Number 3, Catch and Release. So I'm not really into fishing in real life, so the fact that this made it on the list says a lot. Catch and Release is easily the best fishing game to play in virtual reality. From everything to its polished and simple gameplay, Catch and Release is a fun, interactive fishing experience with gorgeous scenery and wildlife to go with it.
Dude, there's a bear! Holy, there's a bear running on the beach. I don't know if you could see that in the footage. Oh, I'm glad I left there.
The game currently sits at a 97% positive review average on Steam, where I saw more than one reviewer say that it was their best VR experience they have ever had. And despite the somewhat cartoony visuals, the game definitely goes for a more realistic simulator style of gameplay, a lot more so than another well-known VR fishing game, Crazy Fishing. And the game also has great physics, with little bugginess when it comes to working with your rod and line. Casting your line works well, and I was particularly impressed by the haptics in this game. The game's use of haptic feedback is heavily put to use and really makes it feel like there's a fish on your line, and is crucially important for successfully catching one, since it's pretty much the main way you can judge how hard a fish is tugging on your line, so make sure your controllers are charged before playing. After catching a fish, you can sell it for money that you can use to buy new gear in your notebook, which also gives you stats for all of the different kinds of fish you have caught. The game currently goes for $19.99 on Steam and is also available on the Oculus Rift and Windows Mixed Reality. Number 2, Beat Sabre. I know, a lot of people are gonna say that this should be number 1, given the fact that the game absolutely shattered records for being the most played VR game on Steam. The game has some of the most addictive gameplay of any VR game and has the unique advantage of appealing to the millions of Star Wars fans out there, which is why it isn't surprising that the game sits at a whopping 98% overwhelmingly positive review average on Steam. The game makes for a super immersive experience as you are put in a pretty trippy room with awesome lighting effects and of course an awesome soundtrack. One of the awesome things you can do with this game is that you have the ability to add your own music using customized mods, which adds a ton of replay value for the game. The game also, as you can imagine, is a great workout, which gives you another great excuse to strap on your headset for another lengthy play session. The devs also just recently announced that they will be releasing a multiplayer component to the game, so it's nice to see that the devs are continuing to add content to a game that frankly doesn't have a lot of content other than slicing cubes with lightsabers. The game currently goes for $19.99 on Steam.
The dark wood falls before me, with broken bow and blackened leaf.
And number 1, Moss. Appearing first on the PlayStation VR, Moss made a very unexpected but very welcome launch on Steam in early June. The game is easily one of my favorite VR games of all time, and I was amazed at how smoothly they ported over the game, making use of the Vive wands, which at first I was worried about regarding the controls, but they did a great job here. And of course, nothing beats a PS4 controller for a game like this in my opinion, but the controls are pretty easy to learn on the Vive, and for those who don't know, Moss is a puzzle adventure game where you play as a small mouse protagonist named Quill, who ventures on a journey to defeat a fire-breathing snake named Sarfog, who overthrew Quill's kingdom and kidnapped her uncle. The game has an amazing soundtrack, and the story unfolds as if you're reading a book with voiced narration. The environments are gorgeous with tons of detail, especially on the Vive Pro, and I can't believe the amount of work that must have been done on some of these scenes only for the player to experience them for such a brief periods, but I guess you can say that for a lot of games. The gameplay is very fun in my opinion, and I love the dodging in and out combat the game offers, and the puzzle difficulty is spot on in my opinion as well. The game lasts for about 3 or 4 hours and goes for the price tag of $29.99. Alright, there you have it guys. Those were my top 3 favorite HTC Vive games to release in the last 2 months. I hope you don't mind me doing these videos now every 2 months because unfortunately there just aren't enough good VR titles that come out in 1 month to make these videos worth it. And as always guys, I'd appreciate it if you liked the video and let me know in the comments what your favorite games were for May and June. So that's all for this one. Thank you once again as always. Until next time, peace.